So in this video, we're going to talk about why he stops chasing you and what to do immediately. This applies to you if you're dating and a man stops pursuing you, stops chasing you. And it also applies if you're in a relationship and your partner no longer puts effort in like they used to. No longer plans date night, no longer tries to romance you and make you feel special. It happens at all stages of your relationship timeline. The first thing I want to talk about is why a man stops chasing. And I want to give a warning here because I've noticed women tend to want to go down deep rabbit holes to understand men, to get to the bottom of, the deep recesses of his mind and how he thinks, in a way to try to piece together the exact blueprint or roadmap into his specific heart, right? In a way to influence him, to keep him. I want to advise you against doing this. And I see women doing this and looking up experts and trying to really almost like go too deep into analyzing men and studying men. First of all, men have no idea what they want, okay? But they have a lot of opinions about what they want. And you can get lost in listening to all their opinions and using that to feel really inadequate and not good about yourself, right? Because men have lots of ideas, lots and lots of ideas. So that I find is not useful. And second of all, it's not even true. It's just an idea of what they want, right? Men don't know what they want until they are married. Okay, how we know this is true is because he is single and dating, right? He had an ex once. He thought he wanted the ex once. He was wrong about that. Now that's why he's single. So if he was wrong before, he could be wrong again. So at best, he just has a guess at what he wants. He doesn't really know, right? That is why he is dating, right? Very sneaky. So you don't want to get too caught up thinking that what he is saying is the blueprint, is the roadmap to his heart, because it's not, right? Same with listening to experts. You can waste a lot of time consuming video after video, content after content, and I get it. Your brain likes content, it likes consuming, it feels useful, it feels like you're doing something productive, when really what you're doing is just procrastinating. You're just in your room watching videos and then not doing anything in your love life. Okay, so you want to catch yourself doing too much of that as well. So with that said, there are some basic things I do think is important that you understand about men, and here is one I'm going to give you right now. Men are simple. They take things at face value. They are logical and practical. So how that applies in this scenario is in two ways. So the first reason men stop chasing is because he doesn't have to. If you're doing everything for him, if you're planning the dates, if you're organizing the dates and the dates plan and you're spending time together, he will just think, well, she's already doing it. I don't have to do it. Done. If the objective is just to spend time together, it's already handled, it's already sorted, so he doesn't have to do anything. If you tell a man, you don't have to get me anything for my birthday or Valentine's Day, he will just take that at face value. He will just think, okay, I'll just take her word for it. I'm just not going to do anything. Okay, that's why he doesn't do anything. He thinks, box checked, done. If you never tell a man what you want, and you just act like everything's okay, everything's fine and happy, he will just assume you're fine with everything. So he will just go about his day doing whatever he wants, thinking you're happy with everything. Men are just simple like that. They just take things at face value. Women are the ones who tend to look deeply into things and analyze things and create this backstory and make all these assumptions about why he's doing something, why he's not doing something, creating a lot of drama around it. Really, men are simple. They don't look that deeply. What it is what it is to them. That's something you need to understand about men. The second reason is he doesn't want to. And this is the hardest concept for women to grasp, me included. So a lot of us, we want to feel a sense of control. There's order in the world, there's sense in the world, and we know what to expect. But the truth is, other people are allowed to do whatever they want. Men are allowed to change their mind. Okay. And women have a very, very hard time with this idea. So women will say, I thought everything was going great. He was taking me out on dates and, going to restaurants and showering me with gifts. And now all of a sudden he doesn't want to do any of that stuff. He just wants to stay home. Now she's bothered by the fact that he's changed what he wanted to do. Really, he's just changed his mind about what he wanted to do, right? And I watch myself get really upset with my husband too, because I will think we have this plan, right? I was expecting us to go out. We had this plan to go out. And then all of a sudden he will say, no, I don't feel like it. I'm tired, right? And I'll get really upset. I'll watch myself get upset with him. And I'll be like, but we planned this, right? I moved and shifted things around so we can go out. Even if you have walked away from a relationship, do you still find yourself hating on him in your mind? Having an argument with him in your mind about how he shouldn't have done that, how he should have stuck to his word, and he shouldn't have wasted my time, and I can't believe he did that. Basically creating this story in your mind that's creating a lot of anger still, even though the relationship is over. So this is what I mean about women being resistant to the idea, or the fact, it's not an idea, it's a fact, that men are allowed to do whatever they want to do. Men are allowed to change their mind. We tend to do this in our life too, where we will start something and then we will change our mind and then stop it, right? We forget in our human experience, human life, we do this all the time with ourselves. But we just don't like it if we're at the effect of someone else doing that, someone else exercising their right to free will and to do that, right? So really notice that if that's you. Now, talk about what to do and what is within your control to do. So I want to remind you that in a relationship, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. And really, let's be honest, that's the only one you have control over, right? You can't control men, but you can control how you think, how you feel, and how you act, right? So we always want to bring your power back to here and what you do have control over, and take responsibility for how you're thinking, feeling, and acting, right? Because that is where your power card is, right? That's the only place you have power. So if you're giving your power away to men, if you're blaming men, if you're like in that victim mentality of like, poor me, he's done this to me, that you don't have any power there, right? You're just gonna wallow and hide and feel like a victim. Okay, so always remember that is within your control. Actually, you can change that. You can decide to think about yourself differently, to show up differently in the world, because the way you think about yourself and the way you view yourself and the relationship you have with yourself, right, is going to determine your experience of the world, is going to then influence how men experience you and then how they would show up for you. So everything cascades down from here on out. To put it together, what you want to do is, instead of thinking about how, you want to think who. So instead of thinking, how can I prevent this from happening in the future, or how can I get him to chase me, right, and getting into the strategy of it, of trying to control men, you want to think in terms of who. Who do I need to be, right? Who do I need to be in the world? Who do I want to be in the world? So imagine you have such a solid relationship with yourself. You have such a deep sense of strength from within. You're so confident in yourself, so secure within yourself. And that is an internal thing. That is not something you need to show people on the outside. You don't need to prove it to the outside. That is just what you get to feel on the inside, that sense of strength. You are not bothered or easily shaken by what men say, what men do, or how men think, or what you sense men are thinking, feeling, and doing, right? Some of you who are empaths, you'll be like, I just sense he's doing this, even though I don't really have facts to verify it, right? So you will not be as shaken by that, because you always bring it back to here, and that your sense of strength and confidence and belief and love comes from here, right? What you're choosing to think and feel and do comes from here. And that will create a lot of momentum and make you essentially unstoppable in your love life. Okay, not just in your love life, in any area of your life, if you genuinely, right, chose that for yourself and chose to believe that and be that way for yourself. Now, imagine if you have a deep sense of confidence that your future self will be okay too. Right? So not just right now, but your future self will be fine as well. So it doesn't matter if you get into a relationship and 7 days in, 7 years in, he disappears or he decides, he changes his mind, you're gonna be okay. You have a deep sense of that confidence that you're gonna be fine, right? That strength that comes through within you and that calmness. Now, some of you may intellectually believe this. Some of you are telling yourself, yeah, I know I'm gonna be fine. At the end of the day, I know intellectually I'm gonna be fine. But you're not feeling fine, right, in the moment. You're not feeling that way. So you might be thinking one way and feeling a different way, and there's a disconnect there. And you really want to pay attention to that. Because what that is, kind of lying to yourself a little bit and not really telling yourself the truth about how you really feel. And that is not something I want you to like indulge in, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Like if you don't tell yourself the truth, then you can't shift it. You can't even go do the work to shift it within yourself. My clients that has had that deep shift, a lot of them come in knowing this stuff I'm saying already. They intellectually know it. But until they've actually done the inner work, actually done the work on themselves, put it into practice instead of just consuming information, that is when the real shift begins. You know, that is when they feel grounded, secure, safe, strong, when men aren't responding or disappear, or, you know, when men come and go, and it's put into practice then, right? And they have a deep knowing that they will be okay. That is a huge difference between intellectually wanting that and thinking about that and then being it, right? So really kind of check yourself where you're at with that and tell yourself the truth. Also, imagine if you just had the confidence to make decisions. So many of you don't trust yourself to make decisions in your love life. Like a lot of you are afraid to go out and date because you think you're going to pick the wrong guy or invest in the wrong guy. And that's why you're analyzing everything, trying to do it right. And what that is you not trusting in yourself, trusting in your own decision-making abilities. If you are going online and asking for help, asking your friends for help, asking everybody else for help, and the emotion that's driving that, who you are being when you're doing that, is coming from a place of insecurity, a place of doubt. Okay, you're just only going to create more doubt and fear on the other side of that. What is driving you wanting to ask for help and seek help? Because really, if that is coming from insecurity and that's coming from self-doubt and you not trusting in yourself, you're only training yourself to not trust yourself even more, right? To doubt yourself even more when you seek outside of you for answers. You are enough. What you have, what you know, your current knowledge, your current wisdom is enough. Okay? And that is a muscle you want to train from within you. You need to go within and ask yourself and to trust your own answers and to go out and do it and make that decision. And then you can practice having your own back. So here's another reason why women don't want to make decisions, is because they're still beating themselves up about the last decision that they made, right? Not having their own back about their past choices. So that is another thing that will be detrimental to you having your own back and having a solid relationship with yourself. So you really want to be mindful of that as well. And this is the kind of work that I do with my clients in my Evolved Women Coaching program. I think that women have so much power and so much influence in their love life if they choose to have it. And a lot of it as you may realize, is unconscious. A lot of the time, we don't even know we are giving our power away, and we're, spinning, being stuck. We don't even realize the option is to get ourselves out. So my coaching program is about how to empower yourself so you can get yourself unstuck, so you can start moving confidently towards the relationship of your dreams. And that is 100% within your control. Another thing I want to add is that I believe relationships are always there to serve us. Okay, whether it is for a day, a week, 7 years, 10 years, however long or short the relationship is, it doesn't matter. It's all there to serve us. Some of you are afraid to get into a relationship because you are afraid of it ending. And I want to offer that is not a valid reason to be afraid of relationships. That is just not a valid reason, because all relationships will end, even if it's death that ends it. A relationship is always there to serve us. It's a vehicle for us to evolve and go deeper and learn deeper about ourselves. Now, there was a point in my past where I realized I could not go anymore, could not evolve anymore as a human without relationships. Right? I had reached my limit in my single life. I was happy being single, I was happy with my friends, but I realized I wanted more, and I wanted to challenge myself, right, in a way where I am deliberately putting myself in a new situation to experience new things. And that is what the beautiful thing about a relationship, because each person you have a relationship with is a new opportunity for something different, new experiences, if you're open to that. All right. Now, some of you are, don't want new experiences. Maybe you just want the same experience over and over again. And that is a conscious choice. And that's a beautiful thing if you're choosing that consciously. But for a lot of us, we may be experiencing the same thing over and over again, and it's not a conscious choice. We feel like it is just happening to us and we're the victim of. So that is a completely different thing. And that is not something I want you to indulge in. That is a call for you need to now challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone, right? There is that dissatisfaction in you is calling you to step out. That is what that is, that dissatisfaction. It's a call to adventure, okay? So I believe that's what a relationship is there for. The newness of a relationship, the possibilities is so wide open, so expansive, right? When we first enter a new relationship with someone, anything is possible. And there's something so seductive and amazing about that, right? And so many of us are afraid to go all in like that. But I think you're just looking at it the wrong way, right? You're looking at the end as a terrible thing and all your past experiences as a terrible thing, when again, I want to encourage you to look at it in a different way. This is a new experience. This could be new and exciting. This could help you evolve and grow and go deeper within yourself and do that deeper inner work with yourself, which you're just not gonna be able to do that by yourself, okay? So that is what I encourage you to think about. And if you want to go deeper in this work, then I highly recommend you can book a call with me and have a chat with me and see how we could work together, right? This is something that excites you as it excites me to think about. Please leave me a comment below. I love hearing from you guys. You're a little bit quiet. It's okay. I know I'm not huge on YouTube. But, that's okay. But I want to invite you to write me a message, a comment. I will respond to every single comment. I want to get to know you. I want to have a conversation with you. I want to see if we can evolve together and grow together, because no matter where you are in your relationship, it can be better, right? You can go deeper with it. You can evolve even more with it. And that's kind of the exciting thing about that. So let's go on this journey together. Like me, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back next week.